You worked for 40 years, only to end up in a cold rental room counting every penny from your retirement check? Why settle for that, when you can live like someone who truly matters? Many people believe retirement leaves you with only two options. Either keep tightening your belt in the cold northern states, or accept a lonely life in a cramped apartment that barely covers the rent. But if you're Black, and you've dedicated your entire life to working hard, your choices shouldn't be that limited. In reality, America still has places where you can live the life you deserve. Healthy, safe, culturally rich, and full of connection. And no, you don't have to be a millionaire to start over. In this video, we'll take you to the 12 best states for Black retirees. Places to rest, thrive, and shine. Some of the names might surprise you, and who knows, the place you truly belong might be closer than you think. Number 12. Florida, where growing old doesn't mean growing worried. If you think retirement means sitting in a garden waiting for inflation to drain your savings, then maybe you've never looked at Florida through the right lens. Because here, the sun shines bright, but the cost of living doesn't burn a hole in your wallet. Florida has no state income tax, so every dollar from your pension or Social Security stays right where it belongs, in your pocket. In contrast, other states might nibble away at your retirement income, but Florida makes it clear that's your money. Keep it. And that's no small thing. After all, what's the point of retiring if someone's still reaching into your wallet? Living costs for seniors in Florida are surprisingly reasonable. According to AARP, the state offers a wide range of support programs for healthcare, food, and housing, especially in counties like Broward or Hillsborough. Medical services are top-notch, hospitals are well-equipped, and good doctors aren't hard to find, giving you peace of mind about your health and well-being. Miami, Orlando, and Tampa aren't just tourist hubs. They're also home to vibrant and welcoming Black communities. From familiar neighborhood salons and dynamic gospel choirs to community festivals, street art, and authentic soul food joints, Florida offers cultural comfort at every turn. Truth is, even if you live alone here, you won't feel alone. And this isn't just some marketing pitch. Take Mrs. Gloria, age 62, a widow who used to live in Detroit. After retiring, she moved to Tampa. "I sold my old house and bought a 2-bedroom apartment near the beach, just 10 minutes from church," she said. "The doctors are kind, my neighbors invite me to weekend festivals, and I can still afford fresh flowers every morning." She adds, living in Florida made her feel young again, not because of time, but because of the kindness all around me. And the weather? Florida is warm year-round. Blue skies, blue ocean, and sunshine in the air. Every morning you don't need to open your financial planner to figure out how much happiness you can afford today. Just step outside, take a deep breath, and know you're living, not just surviving. Florida isn't just a place to retire. It's a place to begin again, lighter, brighter, and more true to yourself. Where are you living right now, and how much does it cost you each month just to get by? Try comparing that to Florida, and see if life there might just feel a little more breathable. Number 11. Delaware, small but big enough to feel like you belong. Many people overlook Delaware because of its size, but if you're looking for a place that's smart to live in, not necessarily flashy or grand, don't scroll past this little powerhouse. It may be small, but it packs a serious punch when it comes to helping you keep more money in your pocket than most bigger states ever could. First up, no sales tax. That's right. Whether you're buying groceries, household items, or a sleek new TV to Netflix your way through retirement, you pay only the sticker price, not a penny more. For retirees or anyone living on a fixed income, this is basically like winning the daily lottery. And then there's property tax, which in Delaware averages around 0.56%. Compare that to states like New Jersey, where property taxes are so high you'd think you were funding the Olympics. In Delaware, your annual bill is as light as a Post-it note. You can own a solid, peaceful home without bracing for financial whiplash every time you check the mailbox. The Black community in Wilmington and Dover is another standout. From friendly barbershops and lively churches to Black-owned businesses, Delaware gives off that cozy neighborhood vibe, the kind where people actually know your name and laughter feels familiar. And if you're someone who enjoys both calm and connection, Delaware is perfectly placed between Philadelphia and Baltimore. That means you can enjoy a quiet lifestyle, but still be less than an hour's drive from stadiums, concerts, or that legendary Philly cheesesteak. Number 10. Maryland. A place where Black lives don't just exist, but truly thrive. In a quiet corner of America, there's a place where Black people don't have to overcome adversity to succeed, because the environment itself was built to help them grow. Prince George's County, Maryland isn't your typical vacation hotspot, but for those seeking a life where community doesn't just survive, it shines. This might be the promised land. Here, Black excellence isn't some rare exception. It's a daily reality, found in classrooms, hospitals, office buildings, and around dinner tables. Now let's be honest. Maryland isn't the cheapest place to live. The cost of living is higher than the national average. Everyone knows that. But don't let that discourage you, because what you get in return isn't just comfort. It's an entire ecosystem built to support your progress. From high-quality healthcare and free community services to excellent schools, modern libraries, and centers offering mental health, legal, and financial support, everything is designed to make sure you're not left behind. Here, you are invested in. You are believed in. Prince George's County is also home to the wealthiest, most educated, and most empowered Black community in America, according to data from the Brookings Institution. Black homeownership, educational attainment, and median income here far exceed national levels. Step outside your door and you'll meet doctors, engineers, artists, and entrepreneurs, people who look like you, speak like you, and are willing to share the path they've walked. Take the story of Jerome and Tamika, a couple who moved from Atlanta to suburban Maryland when Tamika received a PhD scholarship. We used to think a place like this was just a dream, a place where Black people are respected, where you don't have to lower your voice, avoid eye contact, or try to fit in, Jerome shares. But here, it's real. My son's classroom is filled with Black teachers. Our neighbors understand our culture, and the clinic down the street has doctors who actually listen. And if you're worried about staying connected, Maryland borders Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, putting careers, culture, the arts, and even movements for justice all within easy reach. You don't have to leave the city behind to live a life rooted in your truth. Maryland isn't cheap, but it's worth every cent, because some places are made for surviving. This one is built for thriving, for growing, for being your full, unapologetic self. Have you ever lived in Maryland? Was your experience similar or different from what we've shared? Let us know below. Number 9. Texas, where life is as wide open as the land itself. Texas isn't the kind of state that gently lures you in with sweet talk. It doesn't flatter. It speaks straight. And for anyone worn down by high living costs, crushing taxes, and a life that feels like a non-stop treadmill, Texas feels like a hand on your shoulder saying, hey, you still get to choose how you live. Let's start with the money. Texas has no state income tax. Zero. Not a cent. What you earn is yours. All of it. And that's no small thing, especially for retirees, freelancers, or anyone trying to rebuild their life. In a world where every dollar needs to stretch 3 ways, not paying income tax gives you a serious edge. Housing is also much more affordable, especially in cities like San Antonio or Fort Worth. You can buy a house with a front yard, a backyard, and space to breathe for the price of a tiny apartment in New York or LA. This is real. Living large, breathing deep, and still having money left over to live not just pay bills. Then there's Houston, the state's largest city, home to a thriving, dynamic Black community. From Black-owned businesses, churches, and artists to weekend cookouts and cultural festivals, you'll be surrounded by vibrant culture, familiarity, and real connection. And this isn't just talk. Marcus, age 58, used to live in Oakland. He took a leap and moved his whole family to San Antonio after taking early retirement. I sold my old house in California, bought a 3-bedroom place here, and still had money left to renovate. Now, I sip coffee in my backyard every morning. And I'm not stressing about whether gas prices went up overnight, he says. What matters is that I feel like I'm actually living, not just running from one bill to the next. And the food? Honestly, if you've never had Texas-style brisket or tried the wild fusion flavors, think Mexico meets Korea meets the Deep South from a late-night food truck in Houston, then you haven't truly experienced what it means to eat well without needing fancy restaurants. Number 8. North Carolina, a resting place for weary souls. Big cities can offer opportunity, but they often steal your peace. Rushed mornings, thick stacks of bills, and that hollow feeling of being alone in a crowd. Sound familiar? North Carolina isn't a paradise, but it's warm enough, welcoming enough to let you slow down. It offers a simpler life, affordable costs, and a friendly community, a place where you don't have to fight to feel like you belong. Here, the cost of living is so reasonable, it almost feels like stepping back into a time when money still had value. Rent, about $1,100 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment in Charlotte, cheaper than a cramped studio in New York. Groceries, dining out, and healthcare are all far more manageable. Even better, the state doesn't tax your pension or Social Security benefits, meaning you keep what's yours, no sharing required. Charlotte and Raleigh aren't just fast-growing cities. They're also home to large, vibrant, and close-knit Black communities. It's easy to find a soul food spot that feels like home cooking, a neighborhood church where everyone knows your name, or a barbershop where the haircuts come with life stories and laughter. What about healthcare? North Carolina has expanded Medicaid, and public health centers are well run. If you've ever avoided going to the doctor because of fear over medical bills, here, that anxiety eases up a bit. And the weather? A mild 4-season climate. Nothing too harsh. You can sip your morning coffee on the porch watching autumn leaves fall and take an afternoon walk in the park without freezing like in the north or sweating through your clothes like in the Deep South. Number 7. Georgia, where starting over feels effortless. There are places you visit just once, and your heart already knows you're meant to stay. Georgia is one of those places, and that's not just a figure of speech. Georgia, especially Atlanta, is becoming a safe, welcoming haven for retirees, particularly within the Black community. Not only does the state exempt Social Security income from taxes, helping stretch modest retirement checks a little further, but more importantly, it offers something deeper, a true sense of community. Step into a Baptist church on a Sunday morning, and the choir's harmonies seem to warm the very air. Walk through a farmer's market in Decatur, and you'll meet elderly women selling homemade Southern desserts that taste like someone's childhood. Visit a soul food joint in West End, where a plate of fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and cornbread doesn't just fill your belly, it reminds you who you are. Take James, 67, a retired bus driver who worked for 40 years. He's sitting on his front porch, sipping iced tea, listening to neighbors holler across the yard, inviting each other to a BBQ. Here, he smiles, I don't feel left behind anymore. But Georgia isn't just about affordability. Atlanta pulses at the heart of Black American culture through music, food, education, and unwavering solidarity. HBCUs, Black-owned businesses, and faith-filled Sunday services come together to form a community where you don't have to shrink yourself to fit in. You're free to be exactly who you are. In Atlanta, you don't go searching for a place where you belong. That place finds you. From historic institutions like Morehouse and Spelman to senior centers with programs tailored for older Black adults, everything here is built to help you live authentically, not to blend in. And when winter's chill isn't too harsh, when medication and grocery costs don't drain your peace of mind, when every morning someone calls your name with warmth and familiarity, that's what real retirement feels like. Georgia isn't perfect, but it's close enough to wrap you in comfort when life gets heavy. And sometimes that's exactly what we need after a lifetime of striving. So, would you rather live somewhere cheaper or somewhere that lets you truly be yourself? Number 6. Virginia, where growing old isn't the end, but a new beginning. Virginia isn't as loud as New York, nor as flashy as Florida, but if you look closely, you'll find something rare in today's high-cost world: balance. A balance between peace and modernity, between financial stability and well-being, between the desire to slow down and the ability to still reach forward. Let's start with money. The thing that makes many people feel more stressed after retirement than during their working years. In Virginia, Social Security income isn't taxed. That means you keep every dollar of your retirement benefits without watching your wallet shrink month after month. The cost of living is moderate, not dirt cheap, but not so high that you have to debate every roll of toilet paper. And thanks to the state's expanded Medicaid program, seniors here receive strong support, from long-term care to accessible community health services. Virginia also takes good care of your health and lifestyle. Nationally ranked hospitals, modern nursing homes, reliable public transit. It all adds up to a place where getting around and staying healthy doesn't feel like a battle, even as you age. And if you're a nature lover, you'll feel spoiled for choice. From the rolling hills of Shenandoah to the sandy shores of Virginia Beach, the state feels like a curated retirement menu. Every option just right. Cities like Richmond and Norfolk, both home to large, connected, and safe Black communities, make it easy to feel like you belong. Not because you tried to fit in, but because your presence simply makes sense. Black churches, street musicians, soul food restaurants, and cultural centers are all part of the fabric here. And chances are, you'll find folks who vibe on the same frequency as you. Take Charles, 70, a former engineer from Pittsburgh. He moved to Norfolk to be closer to his daughter. "I thought I'd be sad when I retired," he says. "But I'm not. Here, I've got neighbors who know my name, morning coffee on the porch, chats with strangers in the park, and a doctor who already knows my medical history. I don't have to re-explain my whole life." Virginia doesn't sell you dreams with glittery promises. It just shows up as a place where you can live this next chapter of life with dignity, quality, and full freedom of choice. Because sometimes, after a lifetime of running the race, what we really need is just a place to live kindly with ourselves. Number 5. Tennessee. Not flashy, but the kind of place that makes you stay. Tennessee doesn't try to impress with glitter or noise, but it holds something many places are quickly losing: a way of life that's easy, grounded, and full of character. Here, you can catch live music on a street corner and still afford a decent home without having to sell your soul to the bank. The first thing that makes Tennessee worth your attention: no state income tax. That means every dollar you earn, from retirement checks, side gigs, or any income source, stays with you, intact. For retirees or freelancers, keeping what you earn is no longer a luxury. It's a reality. The cost of living in Tennessee is below the national average, according to U.S. News. In Nashville, the median home price sits around $370,000, a far more reasonable figure compared to the jaw-dropping prices on the coasts. Cities like Memphis and Nashville are also epicenters of Black music and culture, from blues and soul to modern hip-hop. This is where you'll find buzzing bars, street performances, and not just the presence, but the leadership of Black cultural voices. Meet Reggie, a retired jazz musician who once lived in Chicago. He chose Memphis to settle down after retirement. "I didn't want to live somewhere that made me give up music," he laughs. "Here, I still play every week. The vibe is laid back, the community's warm, and I still have money left over to buy my grandkids candy on weekends." And if you're someone who wants peace and a little fun, Tennessee checks the boxes. Lakes, mountains, parks, music festivals. It's all here, year-round, without breaking your budget. Tennessee isn't promising you a life of luxury, but it offers something far more valuable: the freedom to be yourself, without having to struggle just to get by. Number 4. Alabama, where retirement isn't just running from the bills. You know that feeling when your paycheck comes in and disappears faster than a plate of mac and cheese at a family cookout? When every budgeting session feels more stressful than a playoff football game? If that sounds familiar, maybe it's time to consider a place no one expects to save them: Alabama. This isn't the state for folks looking to flex a luxury lifestyle on Instagram. But if you're searching for real-life, simple, affordable, community-driven living without your wallet shrinking day by day, then Alabama deserves a serious look. Let's talk numbers. Just to be clear, the cost of living in Alabama is 33% lower than the national average. Property taxes are just around 0.41%, among the lowest in the country. That means you don't have to break your back just to hold on to your home. Your Social Security check won't just survive, it'll thrive. But Alabama isn't only about money. It's a place where the Black community is deeply rooted, with culture, pride, and resilience. Cities like Montgomery and Birmingham weren't just chapters in civil rights history. They were battlegrounds, built on blood, sweat, and voices that wouldn't be silenced. Today, they're still strongholds of connection, from Black-owned businesses to churches, barbershops, and cultural centers where you walk in and think, "I'm home." Take Ernestine, 65, a former office secretary from Chicago. "I came down to Alabama planning to stay a year and figure things out," she says. "It's been 7 years now, and I don't want to leave. The neighbors know my name. I don't have to shovel snow in the morning. And my retirement money, I'm actually saving some." With mild weather year-round, peaceful scenery, and down-to-earth people, Alabama is the kind of place where you can live your retirement fully and still have energy left to enjoy life. Because let's be honest, there's no glow quite like the quiet joy of realizing I have enough on my own terms. Number 3. South Carolina. The longer you stay, the more it feels like enough. South Carolina doesn't shout about being a retirement paradise. But once you set foot here and stay long enough, you'll understand why so many choose it as their peaceful landing spot after a life of hustle. This isn't just a place to eat barbecue and stroll the beach before heading home. If you know where to look, South Carolina offers a symphony of slower living, warm community, and financial peace of mind. The cost of living is about 10% lower than the national average. More importantly, the state doesn't tax Social Security benefits. That's right, not a penny. And if you're over 65, you can deduct up to $15,000 from other retirement income as well. So instead of stressing about gas prices going up, you might actually find yourself debating whether to buy a new fishing rod or pay for a few extra months of golf with the old crew. Cities like Charleston and Columbia aren't just home to Black communities. They're thriving with pride, tradition, and deep connection. From music and food to the rich Gullah culture, you'll never be short of family you haven't met yet. Every church has a story. Every meal has a flavor that'll make you wonder, wait, have I been eating the wrong way my whole life? Take Gerald, a retired teacher from Baltimore who moved to Charleston after retiring. "I don't have to shovel snow every morning anymore," he says. "I've got neighbors who've become friends. And the gumbo here? It's so good. I stopped cooking." And here's the bonus. Winter in South Carolina is just a gentle reminder that time is passing. No bitter cold, no icy sidewalks, no heavy boots, just a soft breeze, mild sun, and that front porch rocking chair you could sit in all morning. South Carolina doesn't need to be flashy. It's warm enough, real enough, and good enough to simply feel like home. Number 2. Arkansas. Light on bills, heavy on heart. Arkansas isn't loud like Texas or glamorous like California, but for many folks who are simply worn out from pinching pennies in overpriced cities, this state feels like a much-needed breath of fresh air. If you want to live comfortably without winning the lottery, Arkansas might be exactly the place you've been overlooking. The cost of living is below the national average, especially when it comes to housing and healthcare, two of the biggest financial headaches for retirees. Here, you can find a spacious home with a backyard garden and still have money left over for a good old-fashioned weekend BBQ with the neighbors. Arkansas also doesn't leave you hanging when it comes to support. The state offers Medicaid programs for seniors, along with utility assistance programs that help you breathe easier when the weather turns hot or cold. Around 15% of the population is Black, with vibrant, tight-knit communities in cities like Little Rock and Pine Bluff. In these places, you don't live like a stranger in a crowd. You're part of a neighborhood where people greet you each morning, where there's a church down the street and soul food spots that season their dishes with the kind of flavor you remember for life. Take Leonard, 67, who moved from St. Louis to Pine Bluff after retiring. "I don't need much here," he says, "but I have enough. And for the first time in 30 years, I feel like I'm living without owing anyone a thing, not even the electric company." Arkansas doesn't paint a picture of some shiny dream, but it offers something more honest. A life where you can live peacefully, fully, and without the constant pressure to stretch yourself thin. Number 1. Louisiana, where retirement is not just livable, but deeply fulfilling. You know that feeling, when you step into a place and your heart exhales just a little, when it feels easy, warm, familiar. For many retirees, especially within the Black community, Louisiana is that place. I remember talking with Miss Mary, a retired teacher who moved from Chicago to a small town outside Baton Rouge. She smiled and said, "Child, down here I wake up to birds, not sirens. And a house is no longer a worry, it's a joy." And she's right. With average home prices around $150,000, you can afford a real home. With a front yard, a white picket fence, and a porch swing that welcomes the morning sun. Louisiana doesn't tax your Social Security benefits, and it partially exempts pension income too, meaning every dollar you receive is yours, untouched. And when you're living on a fixed income, that kind of financial respect means everything. But what truly makes people stay here isn't just the money, it's the heart. Step into a church in New Orleans, and the gospel harmonies will feel like they're hugging your soul. Wander through a local market, and you'll be greeted by sweet ladies selling fresh beignets, calling out, "Hey, baby," with a kindness that feels like home. Louisiana is the kind of place where you don't have to try to belong, because it welcomes you as you are. With its culture, music, warmth, and food that tastes like memory, it wraps you in something real. Growing older doesn't mean fading away. Retiring doesn't mean disappearing. No matter where you've been, what you've carried, or how far you've come, you deserve a new chapter that feels alive, joyful, and unapologetically yours. You don't need to hit the lottery. You don't need to be a millionaire. You just need to choose the right place. A place where your skin, your voice, your culture, and your values are free to exist fully. These 12 states aren't just names on a map. They're invitations. A reminder that you deserve to thrive, not just survive. You've spent a lifetime showing up for everyone else. Now it's time to live for you. If you found this list helpful, hit like, share this video with someone who's searching for their next home, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss the next dream destination for the Black community across America.